Forget everything you thought you knew about the Antichrist. That sounds hyperbolic, but for the next few minutes, I want you to suspend all preconceived ideas about the term Antichrist. Many well-intentioned Christians have used this term to reference a future satanic leader who will deceive the nations and issue the 666 mark of the beast. Though it's true that the Bible talks about this satanic leader, it is not the Antichrist. So then, who is the Antichrist? Before we look at the scripture to answer this question, let's first get some context. In total, the term Antichrist is used only 5 times in scripture. All uses are by the same author in the books of 1st and 2nd John. It's also important to note that much of the information we have regarding the satanic leader, including the only mention of the mark of the beast, is found in Revelation, which is widely regarded to be written by the same author. But John never mentions or alludes to the term Antichrist in Revelation, which is odd if he was trying to make a connection between the Antichrist and the character in his vision. When John coined the expression, he did a good job explaining the scope of its intended use. So let's go straight to the source to find out who the Antichrist really is. In 1 John, we see that he is talking about obedience to God, overcoming sin, and recognizing imposters in the faith. In the midst of this dialogue, we see our first occurrence of the term Antichrist in verse 18. John says, "This is the last hour, and as you have heard that the Antichrist is coming, even now many Antichrists have already come. This is how you know it's the last hour." Some take the use of last hour to indicate that this figure must appear at the very end of time, or at least at the end of this age. But look closely at what he's saying. It's not by time frame that we know the Antichrist is here, but rather it's because the Antichrist is already here that we know the time frame we're in. For anyone who's shocked to learn that we have been in the last hour for 2,000 years, here are some more examples of this concept in Scripture. In the book of Acts, chapter 2, Peter qualifies that the apostles are not drunk by quoting the prophet Joel, who says that in the last days young men will see visions and old men dream dreams. Clearly, Peter is indicating that the apostles were living in the last days. Also in Hebrews chapter 1, it states, "In these last days, he," referring to God, "has spoken to us through his Son." Again, in 1 Peter chapter 1, it says that Christ was revealed in the last days to redeem us. This means the Antichrist is out there today and has been for thousands of years. Moreover, there are many of them. But who are they? According to John, they are anybody who denies Jesus is the Messiah. It's important to remember that anti doesn't mean fake or counterfeit, but rather opposed to or against Christ. In 1 John chapter 4, he goes on to explain that the Antichrist is a spirit of deception and false prophecy. This is reaffirmed in 2 John. In a general sense, calling the satanic leader of Revelation an Antichrist is not inaccurate, as he certainly will deny Jesus. However, to refer to him as the Antichrist and attribute that title only to him is not in alignment with Scripture. So now you may be wondering, who is the deceptive leader talked about in Revelation? Stay tuned for the next video where we'll break that down.